Hello everyone! Welcome to the BookVenturist. The end of the Scarlet Pimpernel is very near. In the end of previous chapter, we heard a song, God Save the King. Let us see what happens next in Chapter 30, The Schooner. Margaret's heart stopped still as she heard the singing voice. The voice came nearer and nearer. She knew it was the Scarlet Pimpernel walking towards his death. She decided, let Armand's blood be on her hand rather than her husband's. She started to scream and ran towards the hut. She screamed, Armand! Armand! For God's sake, fire your gun! Your leader is near! He is coming! He is betrayed! Armand! Armand! Fire in heaven's name! Percy, my husband, for God's sake, fly! Armand, why don't you fire? Margaret was caught and thrown to the ground. The bold singer had become silent. Chauvelin was furious. He ordered his men to kill everyone inside the hut. But no one was inside the hut. The soldiers went searching for them in the cliff. Chauvelin said to the sergeant, You and your men will pay with your lives for this blunder, Sergeant. The sergeant replied, You ordered us to wait until the tall Englishman arrived and joined the four men in the hut. No one came. Chauvelin replied, But I ordered you just now when the women screamed to rush in and let no one escape. The sergeant said, But the four men had gone long before the women started screaming. Chauvelin was shocked. In the distance, repeated firing was heard. Chauvelin couldn't see what was happening on the beach as the moon was hidden among the clouds. Chauvelin asked the sergeant, Which way did they go? He said, They went straight down the cliff first, then disappeared behind some boulders. Suddenly, they heard the sound of splashing of oars in the far distance. Apparently, Armand and his men had managed to creep along the side of the cliffs to the creek where the boat was hidden and escaped in the boat, while Chauvelin's men blindly obeyed his command to wait for the tall Englishman to join them as he was their important target. They would have reached the shop by now. A dull boom of gun was heard from the sea. The ship started to sail away. Chauvelin was confused about how Scarlet Pimpernel had once again outsmarted him. How he has managed to reach the hut all the way from Calais without being sighted by any men on the patrol. How he managed to reach the hut without getting caught by 30 men who were guarding the hut. Chauvelin felt that the Scarlet Pimpernel was the devil himself. After 20 minutes of surrounding the hut, Chauvelin and his 30 men had all heard with their own ears that voice singing God Save the King. By that time, the four fugitives must have reached the creek and got into the boat. The distance between the hut and the creek was at least a mile. Only 2 minutes had elapsed between Scarlet Pimpernel's song and the sound of the oars away at sea. Unless the devil himself had lent him wings, the Scarlet Pimpernel could not have covered a mile on a rocky cliff within 2 minutes. He must have stayed back, and he is hiding somewhere in the cliffs. The patrols were still searching. He would be caught. Chauvelin felt hopeful once again. I ran all the way straight to the beach, though I guess the boat would have waited somewhere near the creek as the tide would reach there earliest. The boat must have sailed some minutes before the women began to scream, said a soldier. Then Chauvelin's hope had not deceived him. The Scarlet Pimpernel has sent the fugitives on ahead by the boat, but he himself had not had time to reach it. He was still on shore, and all the roads were well patrolled. At any rate, all was not lost, and he was still on French soil. "Bring the light in here," Chauvelin commanded eagerly as he once again entered the hut. They found a crumpled piece of paper in the corner of the hut. It was written, "I can't reach you. When you receive this, wait for 2 minutes, then creep out of the hut one by one. Turn to your left sharply and creep cautiously down the cliff. Keep to the left all the time till you reach the first rock. Behind it is the boat, which is on the lookout for you. Give a long sharp whistle. She will come up. Get into her. My men will row you to the ship and then to England and safety. Once on board the ship, send the boat back for me. Tell my men that I shall be at the creek, which is in a direct line opposite to Chartres near Calais. They know it. I shall be there as soon as possible. They must wait for me at a safe distance out at sea till they hear the usual signal. Do not delay and obey these instructions immediately." And there was the mark of the tiny red flower on the paper. Chauvelin announced a reward of 1,000 francs who got to the creek near Calais before the Scarlet Pimpernel reached there. Chauvelin went near Margeurite. She was unconscious. He untied the Jew and asked him whether you remember our bargain. The Jew was too frightened to speak. Chauvelin said, "We agreed that if we overtook the tall stranger and found him, you will receive 10 gold coins. But if you deceive me, you will receive a sound beating." The Jew was trembling with fear. Chauvelin commanded 2 men to whip the Jew with their leather belts. He told Desgas, "Let us leave the Jew and the women here. We will come in the morning to take them. They can't run away in this present condition." The howl of the Jew as he was receiving his punishment made Chauvelin smile. His howls recovered Marguerite's consciousness. "That will do. We don't want to kill him," commanded Chauvelin, as the Jew's moans became more feeble and the poor Jew seemed to have fainted away. Margeurite didn't know what happened to Armand and Sir Percy. Chauvelin said to Margeurite, "Dear lady, I have duties to attend. I will leave you here with our Jewish friend Benjamin. I will send an escort for you in the early morning. Let us meet soon in London at the Prince of Wales' garden party." With an ironical smile, he kissed her hand and disappeared with the soldiers. Hope you like this chapter. Will Sir Percy escape once again? Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe to the BookVenturist. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.